Hello, I'm Jeff Crawford for Journo.com, and the topic of today's video is abortion. Why abortion? That's a very good question. I don't really want to make a video about abortion for a couple of different reasons. One, any woman who sees this will be sitting there, who are you to tell me about this? Because, I'm a dude, and frankly, there's a whole section of this I don't really have that basic understanding of. I can understand it in the abstract. I can read medical text. But as far as knowing, being able to feel what those medical texts are describing, I don't have that. Two, this is a very militant topic. I don't expect a couple of minute web video to change anyone's mind. It might get me some hate mail, though. But alright. Three, the only reason I'm really doing this is because I ended up digressing in my last video about stem cells because embryonic stem cells brought the pro-life and the pro-choice people into it. Rather foolishly, because they just did nothing but just distract and cloud the issue and make sure everyone was misinformed, trying to prove a point about abortion and what was really a matter of health research. But without further ado, I've never, aborted a child of mine. I've never really had a pregnancy scare. My experience with abortion begins when a friend of mine in high school tricked me. That I was 17 years old. He tricked me basically in giving him and his one-night stand a ride down to the abortion clinic. The whole time down there, the girl was crying her eyes out, and I had no clue why. And I ended up really, because when I figured it out, I was joking with her the whole time, trying to get her to stop crying. And then about a half hour after she disappeared, I realized I'd basically driven her to the abortion clinic. And she was a wreck driving down there, and she was even more of a wreck driving back. Like I said, I can't understand how bad it is. I just know I really felt horrible for, being in this situation. And I kind of just promised myself I would never put anyone in that situation. And so far I've been lucky enough not to. Careful enough, lucky enough, however you want to calculate it. I myself, and I tend towards pro-life. Not the militant, oh, you're damned in hell if you get an abortion. No, I just, I've always thought kids were kind of neat. I've always been one of those guys like, oh, I've seen everything. And kids, dude, they're seeing everything for the first time, and it's kind of awesome that, a baby dude, you can, there, and he's like, oh my god, you appeared out of nowhere, it's kind of amazing to see, because everything's new to them. So I like kids. So I'm not a real big fan of just, making sure they never come out. Having said that, I understand if you can't care for the kid, if you don't have the psychology or the financial wherewithal to be able to care for a child. Alright, dude, because honestly, that kid's quality of life isn't going to be all that great. New subject. So yeah, I can understand that. If it's a case of a pregnancy by rape, go ahead. Someone took your choice away, get it back. I'm not going to ask you to, at the minimum, carry around a reminder of this crime for 9 months. And I'm not going to ask you to dedicate 18 years to something you didn't ask for. Medical procedures, I've had some experience with that one. There was a girl I knew that had had a lot of miscarriages, and about 2 weeks after she'd gotten out of the hospital for internal bleeding, she was telling me about another pregnancy, and I was like, abort it. And not because I really believe in murdering children, I just knew how it was going to end up, and better it happens with medical supervision. And I actually still have doubts about that advice. She didn't take it. It turned out exactly as I thought it would. And I don't know. I don't really feel validated about it. I really feel horrible about telling someone to do that, even if what I was trying to avoid happened. So it's a complex issue, and I have had some experience on the sidelines of it. Where I don't really like the pro-life people, the dedicated pro-life people, because I don't feel trying to guilt someone and trying to make them feel bad when someone's facing honestly a crisis. Because if you're making this choice, there's some severe considerations. You're either too young, you don't have the financial wherewithal to support it, or there's other serious issues. I don't think making you feel horrible about it is the way to go if you're confronting a crisis like that. But I do have my problems with the pro-choice people, because the pro-choice people tend to make it out like this is a casual thing. If you go to the Planned Parenthood webpage, one of the things that pops up is that 3 out of 10 women have had an abortion in the U.S. That might be true. Honestly, it probably is true. But, buried way down beneath that, they're talking about the side effect. I mean, like, way beneath it. You have to dig a little bit to find it. It's not hidden. It's just, not really presented right off. Is that you start finding out about the side effects. Like, your body produces hormones when you're pregnant to see it through to the term. You cut that off, you start to have, your emotions go haywire. And that's from the Planned Parenthood webpage. It's just not me making it up. I'm not sitting there condescending to women. No, it's just something that I don't really understand that I've seen. There's blood clots are a side effect. And, that's the thing, is an abortion is an induced miscarriage under medical supervision, and miscarriages are traumatic. There's no way that's a casual thing. It's a medical procedure, and it's a very traumatic one. And I really think they're doing a disservice to, women by not being more open about that, by trying to present it as something, don't feel bad about it, it's a casual. It's like, don't feel bad about it, but be aware there are consequences and there are side effects. Don't hang your head in guilt. Just be aware of this and make sure you make a choice that you can live with. Because, no matter what, if you have the kid, it's going to be around for 18 years at a minimum. If you get an abortion, you are probably going to spend a lot of your life wondering, well, what would have happened? What would have happened? What if? What if? And, I feel people should do more to make young women, especially, aware of just what this choice is. And maybe they do things to be a little better about using protection, saying no, finding the right guy, and keeping it from coming down between this choice that's probably going to affect them no matter what they choose for the rest of their life. I feel that's, the last resort, only when everything else has failed. And I feel the pro-choice people do too much to treat it as a casual thing. So I would just like to see it taken seriously. And like I said, I will always remember that girl crying her eyes out on the drive down, and just really just losing it. And I personally just don't like the thought of women in that boat, because and the friend that tricked me into it, he was just really cold to her. And I don't know, man. I don't really approve of that. I don't really want to be the guy. I don't ever want to be the guy who does that. So I don't know. Anyway, I'm Jeff Crawford for Journo.com, and these have been my thoughts on abortion. This is something like take 65 of this video. I've done a lot of takes. So this is the one that's going up no matter what. So this has been my thoughts on abortion. I don't expect it to change your mind, but maybe it will get you thinking and maybe considering other options before this ever comes up. And like I said, if it has come up for you, I'm not trying to make you feel guilty about it at all. I'd be kind of interested if you had wished someone had told you something like this beforehand. But other than that, I'm Jeff Crawford for Journo.com, and this has been my thoughts on abortion. I hope you're well.